But I have to be okay with this transition. I wanted to talk about transition and how it relates to radical change, because I want to radically change myself, but I need to be patient with the transitory process from who I was to who I want to become. All right, so I just wanted to get on the vlog and just talk today about transitions and really ultimately just stepping up and doing the necessary actions, in a sense, making radical change happen consistently. Because from a transition perspective, nature always tells us the way to live life, right? You don't get to winter without going through fall from summer, right? You can't just go from summer to winter. You can't just go from winter to summer. There's got to be a transitory period, and that transitory period comes with change, right? And change is never that easy, but it is beautiful, right? When the seeds are budding and the flowers are blossoming, there's probably a lot of struggle, right? That these plants have to go through and undertake to get to the eventual point of maturing, right? And I have to always keep that in mind, because I expect myself to be at a certain level like this right away. And I think it's only gotten worse because of social media and the age that we're in, which is a very materialistic age. It's only gotten worse because everywhere around you, you see other people, quote unquote, moving up in their life, where obviously that's not always the case. But by contrast, when you look into yourself, generally speaking, you're like, well, I'm not really moving very fast in my life. And so it's very easy to just get discouraged. I just need to really remind myself and remember that I am on the path, that I'm on the journey, and I can't focus on anyone else. And I have to accept the fact that change takes time, right? There are transitions in life. You don't just get to being world champion from just starting just starting a sport. You can't just be world champion in 3 months, you know? People train their whole lives for this. People train for years for this. And here you are complaining that you're not a world champion by just putting in like an hour of work a day. Like, it doesn't work like that. That transition really just feeds into this next thing I want to talk about, which is radical change. Because I do believe that we can only truly evolve through radical change. I think it's well known in nature, those that don't evolve as quick as the times do, they get left behind, they go extinct. And nature has time and time again showed that animals and plants have very interestingly developed certain characteristics to withstand the changes that have come radically, right? And those that don't, they go extinct. So all that to say, I'm all for radical change, and I'm trying to radically change myself. For example, I want to eat 1 meal a day, but I mess up sometimes. And that's okay. Messing up sometimes is totally fine. But am I messing up sometimes for a long period of time, or am I messing up like once a week and then I go back to eating 1 meal a day? Because the intention is radical change, but the action is not saying radical change if I'm doing it for a week straight and I'm just eating around the clock for a week straight, you know? So I have to give myself time. I have the intention of radical change, but I do have to give myself grace and give myself time and give myself patience to essentially change from who I want to be to who I am. And the only way to do that is to have a positive outlook and to make slow and steady progress into that radical change of a person you want to become, right? So for example, I might say today that I want to stop added sugar, right? Actually, I did this about a week and a half ago. I said, I want to stop added sugar. So I stopped added sugar for 10 days. And then guess what? It was my wife's birthday a few days ago, and I let that social construct of an idea of, oh, it's okay to have cake when it's someone's birthday. I let that infiltrate my mind. And by letting that infiltrate my mind, I had sugar. And by having sugar, I am no longer the person that I said I wanted to be, right? Because times got tough and I basically folded to who I used to be. But at the same time, I just went 10 days without sugar. So, am I really doing a bad job? Absolutely not. Relatively speaking, I'm doing a phenomenal job because I love sugar and I love to eat sweet stuff. So, the fact that I went 10 days without sugar only to, fall due to my wife's birthday and birthday cake being served, that's fine. The key is now, am I going to let that pull me back into who I used to be and eating sugar every day? No, I'm not going to let that happen. I did let it slide for 2 days. So I had it on my wife's birthday and then I had it yesterday. But I'm making this video because I was just thinking about it and reflecting and journaling. And journaling, once again, is crucial because it allows you to zoom out and really look at the landscape and assess where you're at, where you're feeling, how far you've come, how many days has it been without added sugar, how many days has it been with sugar, and then it enables you to think to yourself and write down how you want to adapt to the circumstance. And how I want to adapt to this circumstance regarding added sugar is I'm going to not eat added sugar today, period. I can have fruits, I can have honey, I can have anything that is whole, but I am not touching anything that's processed. I'm going to a wedding event today, and there's 100% going to be added sugar there. And this is a phenomenal test for me today to not eat added sugar. And it's going to be a huge pat on the back and a huge testament to the radical change that I want to implement and who I want to become in not eating sugar and therefore getting a better body, being much healthier, etc., etc. But I have to be okay with this transition because I want to radically change myself, but I need to be patient with the transitory process from who I was to who I want to become. Now, I do want to get to who I want to become as fast as I possibly can, but that is still going to take time, just as it's going to take a plant or an animal time to adapt to the circumstances around them, to the environmental changes, to the climate changes, etc. If they don't, then maybe it's in destiny that they go extinct. But I do not want to go extinct. I don't want to go extinct. I don't want to ruin my body. I don't want to ruin my mind. So I want to make this radical change of being the type of person that doesn't eat added sugar. To wrap up, set the intention for radical change. Give yourself grace and measure and monitor you staying consistent and staying committed to achieving that version of yourself. And don't let setbacks be the demise and be the restarters to your intention. Let setbacks be a part of your process on the way to a better you. And that's what I'm going to do. So today, my intention, my very strong intention that I feel in my heart, and I'm feeling this so strongly right now, is that I'm going to reject added sugar at this wedding event. And I'm going to do this very strong because I know for a fact that once I am able to write in my journal, when I have a 2-day streak, I feel a lot of momentum. And when I feel a lot of momentum, good things happen. And I want to ride that momentum. And honestly, my wife's birthday was a pretty big deal because I planned it and there was a lot of emotion that went into that birthday, and I love my wife so much, and there's so much emotion that's tied to that event that I can 100% understand and realize why I slipped back into my old ways, because I was a victim of the emotional circumstance, and that's totally fine. That happens, but I want to get better and I want to learn from it. So I hope this video helps. Radical change. Be patient with the process and the transitions. I mean, for goodness sakes, it takes 9 months for a woman to go from being pregnant to having the baby. So why wouldn't it take time for me to go from eating added sugar to not eating added sugar consistently and committedly? if committedly is a word. But being committed and being consistent with that is going to take time, and I'm willing to pay that price. So have a great day. If you like what I'm saying, this is the first time I'm saying it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I really look forward to posting more of this because I love doing this. So I hope this helps. I look forward to posting and being as authentic as I possibly can be. See you later.